Right. Hello, Blues. Welcome to another Once a Blue, the podcast series where we discuss former City players, their time at City, and what they've achieved and what they've gone on to achieve. This week with me, once again, the only man and only. I can't even get my words out. This is a great start to it. City Dave, how are you doing, mate?
Hello. I'm doing very well. My mini City Dave did a little pod with Tom as well a couple of days ago, and I think that's being posted Sunday or Monday. So excited to see that too.
You've got some competition for these next podcasts.
Oh yeah, Tom's going to kick me out of the group and have mini City Dave on.
Is he more the level-headed and wisdom in the family?
Definitely.
Yeah. Right then, Blues. Basically, this is a bumper pack episode, which we're going to split up into 2 or 3, which we are focusing on specifically former Arsenal players as well as former City players, just because obviously we recently played Arsenal, which we got a 3-0 win. And as we're recording right now, it's Saturday evening UK time, and I believe it's just gone past lunchtime over in the US. Am I right there?
It's 1:02 p.m. here. Yes.
Oh, all right, you got the rest of the day then. And of course, we're recording this after Arsenal also lost 2-1 to Brighton earlier today, which Mikel Arteta has got one hell of a job to do.
Yes.
And I think some of the players we're going to discuss shortly, he'd quite happily have at the team right now to help him push on.
And I think Admin Steve is going to be banging the drum about Dunk again to transfer to City in the next couple of weeks as well.
I tell you what, if Dunk scores as much as he does, and that finish he did, if he scores that like that game in game out, I'd have him at City anytime. We could do with a few more centre back scoring goals. Yeah, he'd never shut up though. That's the only problem. So yeah, we've got a list of players, and believe me, 2 of them aren't French, but we're not focusing on the French players. These are literally former Arsenal players. Yeah. We're going to be talking about Gael Clichy, Bacary sagna, Samir Nasri, Kolo Touré, Emmanuel Adebayor, and to finish off, a Premier League legend in Patrick Vieira. So firstly, we'll start off with Gael Clichy, which we all know him. He's probably, for the past 20 years, I'd say, been one of the more consistent left-back City have had in recent times.
Agreed.
Of which, over the past 5-6 years, we've struggled for a consistent left-back with injuries or fitness or just the right player. Obviously French. We signed him on the 4th of July in 2011 for a fee around the 7 million mark. His first appearance came against Manchester United in the Community Shield, if you remember that, Dave.
Just slightly, yeah.
Yeah, we think we try and forget that one before much.
Yeah.
He made his Premier League debut against Swansea, which was the start to the first title, which I'm sure everyone remembers that game. Not because of Clichy, of course, but Aguero making a name for himself with an instant impact. Yeah. And yeah, what are your thoughts on Gael Clichy? Any specific memories?
Yeah, absolutely solid signing for me. You know, he played over 200 games for City. Very, very consistent. You know, you look, every season he was at City, over 30 games per season. And, you know, when this pandemic first hit and everyone across the world was developing their first 11, you know, for their country or for their, you know, for their club or whatever. If you remember, Dan, Clichy was picked as left back for a lot of Manchester City fans' first 11s. And yeah, was he the most exciting left back, you know, ever? You know, like we kind of saw those snippets with Mendy. You know, maybe not, but he did his job well. And I think what maybe fans were really getting at by picking Clichy was he's probably our best defensive left back that we've had in a long, long time. Not taking anything away from Kolarov, but I think we know Kolarov a bit more of an attacking defender. Clichy just didn't mind getting stuck in. Yes, he would get forward as well, but I think he understood he was more of a 70-30 player, that 70% of the time is defence, 30% of the time, even in this attacking team that we've got. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to let the David Silvas, Agueros, etc. do that kind of thing. So nothing but love for Clichy. I guess my abiding moment is he's the one who calmed Joe Hart down when Aguero scored against QPR. That's my abiding memory of is that he was like Joe Hart, that he was so excited, that we were going to win this thing. That's why he left Arsenal and came to us, in the first place, that you wanted to win trophies. And just to see that look on his face and hugging Hart, I guess that's my big memory of him, because I think he only scored 3 goals for City.
3 goals.
In his whole career.
Yeah, 200. You were right. 200, Matt. 203 appearances, and in those 203, he scored only 3 goals.
Yeah. So again, that kind of proves my point about it was more focused on defence, which, that wasn't under Pep. So we're all good with that. More defensive minded and did his job. Yeah. 7 million when you look at back on that and what these transfer fees as well. Absolute snip.
Yeah, I was going to mention the 7 million. I mean, for 2011, this is the 6th transfer window since the owners took over. We'd obviously signed Kolarov the season before, and we needed another left back. And yeah, Clichy seemed to not just fit the bill, but take it up a level. We had the likes of who we're going to discuss later, Colo Torre, Vincent Kompany. We had that solid back line, Joleon Lescott eventually, but the full-backs were the problem. We had Zaba, who'd really stepped up the game, but left back, all it being just Kolarov, it wasn't a defensive structure. Kolarov was more. I always saw Kolarov more as a left midfielder. He was a bit of both. He could do the tracking back, but Clichy, we needed someone like Clichy. And I mean, when people think of him, he wasn't a pushover. He wasn't the brutest of left backs ever, but he could still hold his own. And I mean, he never had a world class. He never had a world class game, but he never, in my eyes, had a really bad game. He was just consistent, and that's what I love about them days. And yeah, it was a good servant for us and helped us in his first season to win the title. And of course, he in 2017, so he stayed with us for 6 years, ran his contract down, extended it after the first initial contract. And left for Istanbul. Can't remember the team from Istanbul, but yeah, in 2011, 17 even. His honours include, and I didn't realise he had this many honours either. 3 Premier Leagues, obviously 2 of them with City and 1 with Arsenal. 2 Community Shields and 2 League Cups. That was just in England. So all round, very successful, and I'd go as far to say, if you probably might agree with us, and still an underrated player, even to this day.
Definitely underrated, just Mr. Consistent as well. They talk about Dennis Irwin over at United, obviously, and was there for years. And what Ferguson liked about him is, he did the simple things really well. He chipped in with goals, but you knew what you were going to get from a player like Irwin. A week in, week out. Even in that star-studded team we have. And yeah, I agree with you, Dan. I think Clichy was very much the same way. He just went about his business. And, you don't play, in the team. You look at his stats for, most seasons he was there, from Arsenal in the 6-7 season. He played 40 games, 7-8, 49 games, 41 games at 8-9, and then you look at when he moved over to City, 37 games, 31, 31, 28, 39. He wouldn't be playing, with the money that we had and the other options that we had. He wouldn't have even played if he wasn't good enough. He's just Mr. Consistent for me. And much as I love Mendy, and we've got Angelino obviously as well, and Zinchenko can sometimes fill in there. I bet not many City fans would mind having a 24-year-old Gael Clichy back at left back for us, would they?
No, I mean, that is going back to what you said. We pick our past 20-year squad. Clichy rivaled maybe with Mendy and Kolarov, but yeah, Clichy tops a lot of people's hats for that position.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't fault him. Like I said, he wasn't the world's best, but he did a job. You know, we were a team when he signed for us who'd never won a title. We'd only had an FA Cup in recent years. Premier League title, I should have said. So he knew what was coming in, and he did a job for us, and he helped us win. So that's all we can ask from a player. You give your all, you have a consistent run of game, and you be part of the squad that wins us a trophy. You can't ask more from a player, regardless of what they do.
Absolutely.
So, following on from that, another Frenchman, another fullback, opposite side this time, in Bacary Sagna, also French. We signed him from Arsenal again in 2014 for a free contract. And in between signing for us and anything else, all I've got down in my notes after signing from a free contract is he left in 2017. I think he was very much, I think everyone will agree, a backup to arguably one of the world's best at the time right backs in Pablo Zabaleta.
Correct.
There's no denying that he was just to fill in the void. Obviously, we had the likes of Maicon prior to that as well, who never really. I think he was the season type of Bacary sagna. In his time at City, he made 86 appearances, which, you know, is still fair enough, you know, considering he was behind Zabaleta. No goals, so we knew he was very much defensively. Any particular memories on Bacary sagna?
No, I think with Sagna, he was definitely one for me who, to your point, he was just really of a backup for Zabaleta. Relatively consistent, I think. But I think he's definitely one of those players who Arsenal saw the better of him than we did. I think there's difference with Clichy. Clichy played very well at Arsenal, but I think he raised his game even more when he wore the blue shirt. I don't think you could probably say that with Sagna. Was he any worse than he was at Arsenal? Maybe not. But did he improve? Definitely not. He was brought in, you know, to be be an understudy for Zabaleta. Won a League Cup for us, with us, you know, when he was there. So, you know, as you said, Dan, you know, 25, 30 games a season in the 3 seasons that he was with us. He did a job. You know, that's kind of it, really, you know, with him. Just, you know, a bang average right back who I think probably had a better career. You know, we probably could have got a bigger move. I seem to remember when he was at Arsenal and he kind of came through and really shone. I seem to recall, you know, the Real Madrids and Barca's, you know, for a couple of years were maybe looking at him, you know, for a little while, and that kind of fell off the radar, and then obviously out of contract at Arsenal and then moved over to us. So, but not got a bad word to say about him. But sorry, Bacary, but you're against Zabaleta, and there's only going to be one winner against Zabaleta.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, I couldn't have worded that better myself. I think even he knew he was coming in the backup role. Maybe he could challenge Pablo at the time. But yeah, I think, you know, Arsenal at the time had who was it? Bellerin slowly coming up through the ranks, and Matteo Debuchy from Newcastle. When Arsenal signed Debuchy, they thought he was going to be their number one. So Sagna knew he was coming out, and I think he knew he was what, 28, 29, 27 for City. So he knew he was nearing the pinnacle of his career, where if he hadn't achieved much and he goes for a move, he wasn't going to really break into a team like City at the time.
You know what? He was 31, Dan, when we signed him.
Was he really?
Yeah, so February 14th. Yeah, he was born Valentine's Day, 83. And we signed him 13th of June, 2014. Yeah, he was 31. Yeah. I mean, so he really was purchased as an understudy.
I have no idea he was that old.
And not to get off track, but that's kind of what we've been talking about a little bit as well, that would it behoove City to do that a little bit over the next couple of transfer markets? I've tried to get a bit of an older, experienced player in, not to take away from the Garcias and Harwood Bellises and Doyles, who hopefully we've got coming through. But do we need to bring a Bonucci in who's a little bit older who can really be that support. And that's maybe one of the reasons Bacary Sagna was brought in as well. That, yeah, he's not going to set the world on fire, but he's going to be a good understudy for Zabaleta, and he's, with the career that he's had, he's probably going to be a good influence on the younger lads. And, would it behoove City over the next couple of transfer windows to maybe look at a couple of those these 29, 30, 31-year-old players who've got that experience, not going to play every week, but maybe be a real good role model for these bloody brilliant academy players we've got coming through. So just something for us fans to think about.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, he was brought in, like we said, for that backup role. And I thoroughly believe it. He did step up Zabaleta's game when he came. Zabaleta knew he was coming from Arsenal. Arsenal, albeit we take the mickey out of Arsenal weren't really the pushover team they are now. Back then, they weren't a good team. They weren't a bad team.
No.
And we knew Sagna was a good player. So I completely agree with we maybe need that now. We need a bit more experience in the squad. We've got a load of young lads coming through. I think we just need that ratio to be right, experience with the youth. Not all best football clubs always have a mixture, don't they? It's the only way to go. Can't win anything on youth nowadays. But yeah, for his honours, considering he was with us for a short while, obviously with Arsenal for a while. He'd won one FA Cup with Arsenal and one League Cup with us. So he never won a title, despite the teams he was with, for the length of period he was with as well. But yeah, Bacary sagna. Can't really say anything bad about him.
He won the Canadian Championship with Montreal Impact last year.
Whoa, blow me in air. I don't know on in Canada. Montreal, don't they play in the American League?
Yeah,
but obviously
something to do with the MLS, because I think the teams that are in Canada, there's Montreal Impact, there's Vancouver Whitecaps, Toronto something or other. I think that they play each other as well, and there's some kind of like Canadian, who's the best team in Canada or something like that, because there's something somewhat similar here in the Pacific Northwest. So there's some trophy for Portland Timbers and Seattle when they play. There's I don't even know what it's called, but they're keen on that in North America and Canada, doing these well. Okay, you might not win the MLS or whatever, but what about regionally? There's a cup for that as well.
Yeah. So I think that cup wipes out the FA Cup and League Cup without a doubt.
Well, you're fair play.
We love you, Bacary.
7 still playing. Like he looked after himself, and I'm all for players doing that. If they can, if towards the end of their career, if they're moving over to another country and being, a positive role model and bringing more players into the end, they've still got something to offer. I'm all for it.
I mean, he's like Clichy in my eyes. He wasn't world class. He wasn't bad. He just did a job. Did a job he was brought in to do. So we can't say a bad thing about him. But yeah, that's Bacary sagna.